Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie are two of the most mysterious animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's. First appearing in FNaF 2 as Easter eggs, their lore was revealed more in FNaF 3. In this video, I will be making theories about who they really are, where they came from, and why they are even in the lore. But before I start, please subscribe, like and share to support my channel. Firstly, I'm going to check out some theories that have already been made. A common theory is that Shadow Freddy is actually Crying Child Soul, the child from FNaF 4 who was bitten and killed by an animatronic known as Fredbear or Golden Freddy. This theory is actually quite nice, for a number of reasons. Firstly, we have to know that Crying Child is the son of William Afton, and younger brother of Michael and Elizabeth. One thing that is related to almost everything about the Afton family is the color purple. Not only is William Afton seen as a purple figure in every mini-game he's in, but every single time any Afton we've seen so far comes back to life, it's related to the color purple. Like Michael, he turned purple after Ennard left his body. Circus Baby's eyes went from blue to green after Elizabeth possessed her, and although this is because Elizabeth's eyes were green when she was alive, the color green just happens to be the RGB opposite of, you guessed it, the color purple. When William Afton revived as Springtrap's color is green, which is, again, the RGB opposite of purple. When William Afton's digital copy revives as Burntrap's eyes are purple. So it wouldn't be surprising if Crying Child revived as something purple, and Shadow Freddy just happens to be purple. In fact, he was the first animatronic revealed who was actually purple or green. In FNaF 4, we meet a character called Nightmare, who looks like Nightmare Fredbear, but is black instead of yellow, and has yellow attire instead of purple attire. He, like all the other Nightmare animatronics, is not physically real, but is just created by the imagination of the player, who is either Crying Child or Michael. It's mentioned in the game files that Nightmare is actually the Nightmare version of Shadow Freddy. If Crying Child really is Shadow Freddy, and Michael is the player of FNaF 4, it would make so much sense. Maybe Shadow Freddy has the ability to enter people's dreams, and is haunting Michael as revenge for playing the prank on him that ended his life. But let's look at Golden Freddy. Why does he have so many supernatural abilities, like immediately appearing and disappearing out of nowhere, and turning into a giant head, despite being a physical Springlock suit? Well, that's because he's possessed by two souls, unlike the other animatronics. Those two souls are actually Cassidy, or the one you should not have killed, and Crying Child. So if Crying Child is inside Golden Freddy, how is he Shadow Freddy? Or is Shadow Freddy and Golden Freddy the same animatronic, and just changes color depending on who's controlling the suit? Despite being a good theory, this theory doesn't quite fit in with me, because, although Nightmare does attack you in FNaF 4, normal Shadow Freddy doesn't do anything to you in FNaF 2 or 3, even though you play as Michael Afton in FNaF 3 and maybe FNaF 2. He doesn't even crashing the game like Shadow Bonnie or classic Golden Freddy. We're not sure if Nightmare is actually controlled by Shadow Freddy, so maybe Shadow Freddy does not want revenge. But then, who is he? And who is Shadow Bonnie? Another theory suggests that Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie are the souls of employees who were springlocked and killed in Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suits. Now this theory, I do believe half of it. I believe the part where they are the souls of springlocked employees, but I don't believe that the suits were Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suits. The only proof that they were these exact suits was that Fredbear's Family Diner was the only restaurant with springlock suits that resemble a bear and a rabbit. Well, that's what we think, because even in the wiki, it says that the springlock suits were discontinued because of springlock incidents in a sister location. This means that it didn't happen in Fredbear's Family Diner, but rather in another Fazbear entertainment establishment. Then where did it happen? Well, let's take a look at some of the animatronics that have been long forgotten by the fandom. Two animatronics from FNAR world that haven't been in any other game. Introducing Red Bear and White Rabbit. Not only are these animatronics canon, they even look like replicas of the Shadow animatronics, even with the same animations in FNAR world. Just mirrored in different colors. They definitely have some resemblance. So that means Red Bear and White Bonnie were springlock suits, which killed two employees and turned them into Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie. Their goal is to free the souls of every child who was trapped in an animatronic, probably because they knew how it felt to be trapped in them. As we can see from the FNAR 3 mini-games, Shadow Freddy plays a crucial role in the events of the lore. Without him, Springtrap would have never existed, and the souls of MCI would have been trapped in the pizzeria forever. The shadow animatronics appear in every place where souls are trapped, including the FNAR2 location, FNAR1 location, and Shadow Freddy is even found in the FNAR3 location. So does that mean that the phantoms are actual souls instead of hallucinations? But that's another discussion. In another FNAR3 minigame, you can see Shadow Bonnie teleporting to other different minigames. This means that these mini-games aren't just mini-games, they're restaurants with possessed animatronics. So many restaurants that we haven't played in have had murders in them. William Afton killed way more children than we thought. But, if you notice, Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie actually have many differences in appearance. Shadow Freddy looks like a worn-out purple Freddy suit, while Shadow Bonnie is a two-dimensional silhouette, fully Vantablack except his eyes and teeth. This could be because Shadow Freddy is still stuck inside his suit, which went from red to purple because of rotting or burning, while Shadow Bonnie is a free ghost, and had escaped his suit. This would also explain why Shadow Bonnie crashes the game, and not Shadow Freddy. But there's just one more thing. Shadow Bonnie and White Bonnie are symmetrical, so horizontally flipping them wouldn't make much difference to their appearance. But Red Bear and Shadow Freddy both have an ear missing, but on different sides. So why is Shadow Freddy a mirror image of Red Bear, if they are the same animatronics? If you notice, Red Bear is holding his microphone in his left hand, meaning he's a lefty, and there's another animatronic, who is also a lefty and even called Lefty, and Lefty has a slight resemblance to Shadow Freddy, color-wise. Are these animatronics somehow related? If Lefty a refurbished version of Shadow Freddy? I might answer these questions in another video, but for now, please subscribe and turn on notifications to keep up to date for future videos. See you soon.